Today to announce that the Justice Department has secured felony guilty pleas from the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange, Binance.
Actually, it's Binance.
Binance.
Binance. Largest virtual.
Binance.
Binance. And let me be clear. It's Binance.
Binance.
Binance. Council has discussed crypto regulations and legislations at length, and we have come to the conclusion that instead of regulating, we are going to ape a fat bag each into laptop and pump it to over $1,300,000,000,000,000,000,000,000 market cap. Let's fucking go, crackheads.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Crypto Morning Coffee. I got my coffee locked and loaded, ready to go, because we have to talk about the crypto market entering the acceleration phase of the bull market just now instead of in the beginning of the year and a little bit later than expected. But the market is getting interesting again, and so is the altcoin space. So we have some news for Vechain today in the stream, as well as something interesting regarding Veve, Ecomi and Veve, but mainly we are talking about the broader market conditions as always. So make sure to stay all the way through, because this one's getting very interesting. It's the Freaky Friday, guys. So, good morning to each and every one of you. I see there's a lot of action in the chat. It seems that the spring is not only waking up plants, but also people and viewers. But there we go. So let's see here. Green Lantern is coming out. We have a little bit more in the chat here to cover for today. Green Lantern is coming out saying, GM, I left something in the group, meaning the Rare Hodler group. So if you're a Rare Hodler, you get access to a Telegram group where people exchange ideas and some things. You have to watch this, my fellow Rare Hodlers, turns the Freaky Friday into Freaky Friday. Hit likes for the great end of the week streams. Thank you for that. I will watch it after the stream. Unfortunately, I didn't get to it before. Also, Patrick is here. Good morning. And then we have G-Money in the house bringing us the coffee. Let's take a deep sip of coffee together here. Plus Trucking Hand, which is almost a guarantee here on the stream, so thank you for being here as well, Trucking Hank. Diviner Singh, also first, awesomeness. Third, yeah, maybe, but I see you here each and every day right now as well, so that's also cool. Plus, good morning, PH, happy Friday. Bernard Donaldson, thank you very much for that. So good Friday to each and every one of you, and let's see what's going on. So we have a really fun day, or we had fun days, and Bitcoin now tried to drop a little bit several days in a row, but wasn't able to. So here we see it. Bitcoin still stuck at 93,000, way better than when we were down here at 74,000, right? So this is really good. This is the daily. We broke this first horizontal support, and now basically this previous support range is now a little bit of a barrier. Obviously there is something going on, so we can't really get through it just yet. That takes a little bit more time, but the things are aligning so that we can get through it, right? So let's maybe make this a little bit more sharp and clean so that we see what actually is going on here. There we go, with this big line, and make this a little bit bigger. There we go, right? So we see all the touch points here, one resistance point, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, 6 times, and then we broke through it, and then 7 times resistance, and now we have apparently flipped it into support here, but we are not through yet. So let's see that this is not a fake out. So, but maybe we are back in this range, and that is the sub all-time high range, right? So we could be going back to all-time high, back to 100K in no time. It's not far away. 93,000 to 106,000, or what was it here, 109,000 is not far away. Okay, so that is that, and the upper part of that range, just let's put it that also very clear, where we will encounter major resistance, will be then, why is this not straight, there we go, will be then this. So yeah, is this here straight? No, it's also not straight. There you go, now it's straight, it looks even better. Okay, so that looks nice, but what's going on? So first of all, has to do with this man. Because markets, as we discussed, markets don't like uncertainty. Now some certainty might come back to the market. First of all is this, trade talks with China. But the curious thing is Trump says trade talks with China are underway, but Beijing denies the ongoing negotiation, which is weird. And then on the other side, we have this Russia-Ukraine thing, which might be settled in the near future. There are the peace talks going on. And we will see. Not everyone likes it, right? For example, EU doesn't really like it. But we will see what comes out of that. Generally, the markets don't really care for some like super far away conflict in the sense of not locally far away, but conflicts that may turn into conflicts, but that are not really escalated yet. But in the case of a war or so, markets do care, and if it ends, markets also care, right? So that is that, which is interesting. And I think this could be the next phase here of the bull market, right? The father was winning with the gold, and the boy is winning with the Bitcoin. So that could be the new situation. Here's some seriousness in that. So this is very interesting. This is coming from the official side of the Federal Reserve, and they're saying, yesterday this came out, Federal Reserve Board announces the withdrawal of guidance for banks related to their crypto asset and dollar token activities and related changes to its expectation for these activities. So basically banks don't have to ask them anymore if they want to get into crypto asset and dollar token activities, which probably is a stablecoin, which probably is because it's just too much or too many that are entering this at the same time. So they are withdrawing this guidance obligation as of yesterday. I don't know when this exactly kicks in, but I think it's already on. So this is good. Then this is the biggest bull signal I've seen so far. Jim Cramer says, and listen carefully, because Jim Cramer is the inverse is mostly true, very, very, very likely. There is absolutely no way Bitcoin goes above $1 million. I just don't see it happening, he says. Okay, which means that's basically guaranteed now that Bitcoin is going above $1 million, right? So you basically have it guaranteed now. As this guy is always like, the inverse is always wrong. So thank you for that, Jim Cramer. I really love it. It's crazy. Also, we see that like the people in the comments, they also love it. Okay, Cramer army, let's go. But I also found some evidence why this could be going, or a little bit more fundamental. Not only the inverse Cramer, but also Cathie Wood's ARK Invest has updated their 2030 bull case prediction for Bitcoin from $1 million to $2.4 million with a CAGR of 72%. Wow, crazy. So more than double. Why? Because they because they have, you see this here in the colors, they have certain assumptions about how much of the price will be built out by which factor. So for example, nation state treasury is extremely low in this pricing, right? So that's not even in a big factor. But institutional investment is now way bigger, and I think the reason for this is if we look at what Strategy is doing, if we are looking at what Jack Mallers just came out with 21, what MetaPlanet is doing, and so on, that institutional investment and institutional strategy beyond Bitcoin seems to be a higher factor than it was before. Plus, Bitcoin turning into somewhat easier digital gold is also a factor that seems to be very big, right? That people just find it easier to buy and sell and so on, and maybe they turn some of their savings instead of gold into Bitcoin. So that is rated higher, it seems. And then we have emerging markets, safe haven. That is more the let's say what BRICS countries might be doing, or what's happening in Africa also, right? And then very small, we have corporate treasury and Bitcoin on-chain financial services. And this is interesting because this could be bigger than expected, right? So I would even say that these are not so unrealistic, and 500k in a bear case, okay, would be a little bit disappointing to wait another 5 years for 500k, but still a CAGR of 32%, which you don't get in any other market. So even if we're in the middle, and basically their bull case has turned into their medium or normal case plus 200k, which is crazy, right? So really looking good here. 53% basically means you have to save in Bitcoin. There's no alternative. Which is an approach that we have that is debatable, because obviously you might want to diversify to have a little bit less risk. I mean, you see it. If you are not in Bitcoin and only in altcoins, you see how much you get wrecked in an instant, right? But this is interesting. I think it was worth showing. Now let's talk about the acceleration phase of the cycle, because we see it here in this let's say pie chart division of the cycle, right? I mean, the reference cycle is very likely the 2017 one, where you have a bear until the first reaction point. Then, and by the way, I think in the non-log chart this is the bottom, and then you have a pre-bull phase until the acceleration phase happens. And the acceleration phase basically is when the breach of this trend line from the all-time high happens, right? Here it's not very exact. I hope there's a wick or so, otherwise this is a little bit painted. But nonetheless, it looks good. Bear, bull, last to the last cycle, right? We also have this breach of the trend line here, and then the acceleration phase. And now we basically had the bear. Here's the bottom. The pre-bull started. We are already here. Now probably going up and we have breached the all-time high already. So we are already here, and now there should be an acceleration, right? According to this, we are going to 350k. I don't know if that's true, but from what we have seen before, we should get faster to these numbers to be able to reach 2.4 million in only 5 years, right? I mean, 2030 is in 5 years. So, I think that there is there is definitely a pattern here, right? Otherwise, otherwise you wouldn't be able to draw it out like this. But the question is, how exact is that, right? When do we really start to go into the acceleration phase? Have we already started? And the let's say the short-term holder MVRVZ score here is pointing in the direction of that we are really only starting the bull phase, the acceleration phase right now. It also points in the same direction, right? So this is the short-term holder realized price, the MVRVZ, against the short-term holder MVRVZ against short-term holder realized price, which is the purple line here, and the Bitcoin average price in the white line, right? And what we see is that as with all the, and this is only this bull market, right? So there's no comparison with other bull markets. It's this bull market. But every time in this bull market, when we reach these short-term hodler realized price ratios, or market valuations, we had a massive pump afterwards. So we see it here, big pump to the all-time high after this, and we see it also here, big pump to 70k after we happen to fall into this dip, right? And this was basically this. You remember, this part here was an extremely interesting phase because not many people were saying that the bottom is in here and here, because there were so many people saying that this was a dead cat bounce and that we go to 12k. That was still the phase, right? And afterwards we pumped hard. This was when people said that this is a triple top and that we are already ended the bear market, and then everyone, like, then there was this exhaustive sideways phase and we pumped hard. And in this one, you remember, until now, people said that the bull market is over and that we topped out prematurely because of diminishing returns and yada yada. Now we have this massive exhaustive phase, but we never fell under 74,000 or so. We did never break our bull market metrics, and now in this exhaustive phase we have the same thing going on, which you see here, that the short-term holders basically capitulated. And I think what's next is exactly what happened here, and here is going to be a big pump, right? Big bull pump. So let's see if it really happens, but I think so. And you know that I'm basing myself entirely on this here, and I think it holds truth, right? And here's the updated version. We're going to look at this as much as we can. So global M2 is is there even a word? Is ballooning. Global M2 is going nuts. It's pumping. Global M2 is out of control. I mean, global M2 is even more out of control than in this first spike, right? So of course we have dips, because global M2 also has dips. This is not a straight line. But global M2 is telling us exactly what is going to happen in the next months, weeks and months. Okay, so with deep dips, right? So let's expect them already. Here's a small one. Maybe that's what we are in, where we are in right now, right? Because this has been taken 94k. But you see that right now we have this, right? Is this even that? Are we so exact on this? Are we so exact on the global M2? I don't know that. But what I know is the direction is clear. Global M2 is showing the way. Let's see. But guys, I think we're in for a treat. I don't know how long it will take. Another couple of days, weeks until the next smaller leg is fulfilled here, going beyond 100k. But 100k is next. Yeah, I strongly believe that. Yeah, this chart is looking saftig, and if you want to know what that means, it means juicy. Yeah. Another of these charts, and this chart really makes the point that we are not even in the bull market, right? And what is this? This is the Bitcoin logarithmic chart of its entire history against the US dollar, and the middle line is the logarithmic regression band, okay? That's basically what the midline is. If you can also look this up on, where is it? Here. Is it that chart? Let me see. Oh, this is Cloudflare. I am a human. Okay, Cloudflare is where. Okay, so now that's not it. That's a cycle comparison. Power of law. So if you go for the power of law model, you will get the same. So this green band here is basically the logarithmic band. Yeah. So you can go to the power of law. By the way, the power of law is showing also that we are under this log band. We have barely touched it, and in every other bull market we have massively went gone over it. So this would be then also a new, and people like to claim also that this time is different. This time we are not going to go over the log band. This time we are not going this and that. Yeah, stop it, right? Stop it. But there we go. So this is what's going on right now. And basically Bitcoin here, he has put this out already in March 29, right? So this is not from now, this is from March 29. So we are not here at 80K. The log band is exactly at 109,000, acting as overhead resistance at the moment until we are going into one of these bull markets, right? So we are higher than that, approaching this band again right now. But what's interesting is what he said at the time, and it still holds true. During the last cycle, you said 60K didn't look like a top, even though it had a perfect textbook structure of 1. Now you feel bearish at 85,000 because 108,000 looks like a top. I understand your bearish sentiment. That's because you haven't experienced the bull phase yet. When the real top is in and we see a 25% pullback, I'll post this chart again. You'll look at it and know for certain, without any guidance, whether the top is in or not. And I think that's true, right? So people here said, we are going to 100 here. Up here, they said, we are going to 100K. That this 50% dip, people say, I remember that, people said that in this 50% dip, that this is only a correction and we're going again. And they got the confirmation bias here because we put in an inflation-driven new all-time high that is only barely above it, but inflation purified. Inflation, how is the word? Inflation exempt or so. We are not higher than this. And then they said, okay, now higher, and boom, that's it, that was it. Whereas here, people are calling for the next bear market, not realizing that we are technically for Bitcoin in itself, if you just calculate from here to here, you clearly have a bull market going on, right? So let's not talk about this, but let's talk about this acceleration phase. This also from here to here was already a bull market, yeah? Maybe even this, right? All this was a bull market, but this is the acceleration phase. All of this from here to here was a bull market, but here's the acceleration, here's the exciting phase, okay? This all was just a nerve-wracking grind. Here's the acceleration phase. This all nerve-wracking grind, here's the acceleration phase. And this, my guys, is also, I can tell you from a streaming and YouTube perspective, from this bottom to this point here, 100K, was a nerve-wracking grind because you're constantly talking against FUD, right? Against FUD, against here, the bull market ended here, the bull market ended here, the bull market ended here again, and right now everyone is on the bull market doomsday. It ended already. It's really a nerve-wracking grind. It's super difficult to make content in this time. It was way easier here, way easier. And I think these times will come back, but not now, right? Not now. I'm not saying not now, but not today. Maybe tomorrow, but not today. And I think it's just around the corner because of global M2. Where is it? Fuck, there. Because of global M2, right? It's really the leader. However, I must say what happened here. We had the story before. This is the CME gap. And yesterday I said, even in a rare hodler group, guys, I think the CME gap closed. It did not fully. I don't know why, because we did come back to 92,000 yesterday, and I don't know why, but this is just on the CME chart. It's not closed, right? It's still a little bit open. And then last time I thought little bit open is not a problem. It was, and this was here, right? I remember this, and you always learn something. we had all this, like, we had this mega CME gap open here. We did all this, like, people, including myself, said maybe we don't come back to close it. And then we came all the way back to almost close it. Then we bounced up to 93,000 again. And then we came all the way back and fully closed it, right? So not entirely closed is not an argument anymore. So I will this time not make this mistake and say we still have to close it and it's still sitting at 91,960 and the CME chart has to come back and close it, right? So there might be a little bit deeper dip here as we are right now. Maybe today, maybe during the weekend. I don't know, during the weekend can't be because then we open another CME gap. But maybe on Monday or so, I don't know. But I think we might come back here and close this before we go. Okay, so and this would coincide with this, right? Here's a dip. This dip can happen. Okay, so that's just my take. So CME gap still open. Gold is taking a breather, which means we are technically in this territory where Bitcoin can catch up. Yeah, we see it here. On the weekly we see it better. Actually we don't, right? Do we? Yeah, on the weekly we see it better. Where how much we have to really catch up, right? Let's shrink this all a little bit. There we go, right? So here we still have a lot of catching up to do. A lot of catching up. There we go. Yeah, gold hit a massive all-time high at 3,500. And now it's taking a little bit of a breather. But it's still following, right? Bitcoin is still following gold, and gold tells the same story as global M2. So I am convinced that we are going to follow this. Bitcoin dominance also taking a little bit of a breather, but and exactly at this all-time high, but like at this wick high. One thing to consider, and let's make this a little bit thinner so we really see what's going on. This is well, if we hold the support, this could just be a continuation, right? So we already put in a new all-time high. This could be a continuation all the way up to 65.6%, right? Where the next let's go on the weekly, where the next little bit of resistance is expected, right? And then we have this big zone here above, right? Where massive resistance is expected from here, from all of these times, right? So we might, this is invalidated. It's nice support and it went. So this is like all these wedges and so on, everything's invalidated in that sense. We're now looking at this horizontal point for Bitcoin to go to. Yeah, and this could be happening in this rally. And that would mean altcoins get even more wrecked than they are already, right? So we see it right now. Altcoins get massively wrecked against Bitcoin, but at some point it will turn. I'm pretty sure of that, right? It's just in nature. It's just where more returns are expected in the altcoins and everyone goes nuts about altcoins and altcoins having ETFs. There was an announcement for a new grayscale trust for one of these altcoins, right? So these things are happening, and this is the way that also institutional money can flow into altcoins, right? Which could lead to massive pumps, because if you consider that VCs and so on have already sold in a bear market for most of these projects, not the new projects, but most of these projects, they might be going nuts, completely crazy in the near future. Let's look at altcoins in that sense. We have a green day for altcoins. STX, 20% in the lead. Helium token, 15.5%. Why is Helium pumping? I know it because Helium is partnering with or collaborating with AT&T, and AT&T is using basically Helium in the background to expand their coverage, which is a really, really nice thing. We have SUI, 13.8%, really cool. as well. We have Ondo 9.6%, Injective 7.1%, Bonk is going nuts. Vechain also 5.3%, going up a little bit. We have news for Vechain. GRT is also up, but for Vechain, look at this. Breaking news. Vechain has been listed on eToro. Don't sleep on Vechain. So eToro has listed 29. Let's check on. I posted this on here on my Twitter profile. If you're not following me, you should follow me. I am posting about crypto stuff here. We have just added 29 new crypto assets to our platform, expanding access to tokens across cloud computing, DeFi, gaming, payments, and more. One of these was Vechain. We see Pudgy Penguins is in here. Peanut the Squirrel, Popcat is here. So really the memes. Floki XM, whatever that is here. Story is here, which I don't. EOS is there, right? Aerodrome Finance. Yeah, a lot of stuff. And you see here, with what I always say, like the Vechain community is huge, right? So we see here VET in the comments, VET, everything VET, right? In the official eToro post, right? So Vechain really has a huge community, and I think this is very important that a coin that you're expected to pump has also a big community. So really good. Then there is Ecomi, right? And for Ecomi, first of all, let me show you. We had, so I showed you this wedge, right? On the monthly, this wedge looks like this, and we were in trouble here, falling out of the wedge. This monthly candle has 5 days and 18 hours left. And I said, if we fall out of this candle, we are in price discovery to the downside, and there's not much to cover. But let's go back to the daily. The development yesterday and the day before, and is this. We kind of on the daily are in and out, right? And then we are in and out, right? But now we are in the wedge again, and on the monthly you see it's only a wick. All of this is only a wick, right? But for Ecomi, we are back in the wedge. On the daily we are back in. On the weekly, obviously, and on the weekly it looks like this, like fake out. But on the monthly, it's just a candle close inside, right? And this is, well, it's not nice, right? Because you still slice the wedge, but it is not the end of the world just yet, right? And hopefully that can be, then the end of the downward trend. And maybe together with Stacker offering full integration of Ecomi for the collectibles, but also collectibles in itself getting some more attraction, plus them being present on some events. I now heard that David Yu is still coming to the Comic-Con in London, which is good, or in UK, I think it's in London, which is good for everyone who already planned to go, because Veve will be present in some form. And then there is the event in Portugal in June, right? So all of this is happening, and we will see how it turns out. Interesting stuff here for Veve in itself is this, right? I saw this right now here, posted by Death Bunny. What happens here is this is about Artifact, right? So this Sheer guy, he posted, you can't make this up. The entire Artifact Clonex collection no longer has any art because it has been restricted by Cloudflare. And some of you thought this was the next CryptoPunks NFTs since it was abandoned. So this is the point where really the discussion goes ad absurdum about the Veve NFTs, right? Because which is basically discussion. It's not on the chain, so you have a walled garden and you can't really own your NFTs. But here in the Artifact, we see Here you can own the token, but that's about it, because you don't own the availability of the NFT appearance, everything that is basically leading to value, which is the 3D model, the brand, the usability in something like Weverse, Showroom, and so on, whatever it was for Artifact, gone, right? So gone. You can't even see how it looked like. It just says CloneX hashtag 15509, right? So yeah, basically a little bit. Let's say it's another aspect to the discussion of not having real NFTs, right? Of course, ownership is good, right? Ownership is and by the way, self-custody also good, right? But I think this whole thing in the NFT space needs to be rethought. Let's put it that way, right? Because even if we would get, let's say, and I'm not making, before my video appears somewhere saying, oh, Patient Hodler is in favor of not real NFTs. I'm not, right? So I want to have a token, I want to have self-custody. But this idea of having everything that leads to value being hosted somewhere else needs to be rethought. Can it maybe be a completely fully decentralized solution that just in itself guarantees the existence, right? I don't know. Maybe it's Arweave or I don't know, right? But this here can't happen, right? This can't happen. I mean, and in this matter, it doesn't matter if Cloudflare is restricted or is restricting the access because someone doesn't pay or whatever, or the company goes bankrupt here, right? It doesn't matter if you can't get your animation and your appearance and your brand. It's like, imagine you still have the receipt of a Louis Vuitton bag, but the bag itself is not gone anymore, right? So, but you still have the proof of ownership is gone, right? The bag is gone. You still have the proof of ownership. You still own this bag, but the bag, let's say you set it on fire, it's not there anymore. And then you're just like, but I own this Louis Vuitton bag. It's now ashes, but I still own it, right? I can even show you a photo how it looked like. Do you want to buy this receipt of ownership from me so you can say you owned this, which is now ashes, right? Where's the value, right? The value is clearly in this analogy. It is clearly in the bag and its appearance and the brand, the logo on it, and the story that it tells, the sentiment that you link to it by having it. I mean, for me, for example, some of these Veve collectibles, they have value just because they make me feel like in the times when I was hunting these, right? So, for example, some of these comics, it's just I look at them and I immediately feel how it was in the beginning times there of Veve, right? So I have a link to that. If I can't see it anymore, that's gone, right? That I don't care for that. I only care for the possibility to buy and sell it and to look at it, use it, and have this feeling, right? So that is what I'm looking for. And if that doesn't happen, not good, right? So I think the discussion needs to be rediscussed here, right? Because if you can, this token, you can put it on OpenSea still. You can still put it on OpenSea, yeah? It's like having people over for dinner and serving them the receipt. Yeah, exactly. It's like here, empty plate, and here it says your lobster costs $110. Have a nice meal. Yeah. So and of course you own the lobster. Yes, you do, and you can pay for it also. Yeah. So it's really nonsensical. And why is this guy referring to CryptoPunks? Because CryptoPunks is different. CryptoPunks, the whole image is on chain. So it doesn't have to be linked or downloaded anywhere. But the problem is that with like large 3D models and collectibles, you can't do this in this way. It works for the pixel 2D small image like CryptoPunks, right? In that sense, CryptoPunks are superior. They are, and you see it in the value as well, right? But I think there must be a way to have these high 3D brand collectibles more attractive for crypto, yeah, without this happening, okay? Or without, in that sense, Veve at some point going bankrupt and you can't access your collectibles. I don't know how exactly, but this needs to be discussed, right? It doesn't. What I don't like is the discussion usually is Veve is bad because this and that, yeah. But then not pointing out that this also happens at the same time, yeah. So, but what's the solution? Where's the solution? Can we have a solution? Okay. Anyways, enough with this. Let's that was the stacker announcement, but we discussed it already yesterday. What is this? Anime After Hours meet and greet with Nikki G. So they are talking about Veve apparently. This is good. Here's another the first appearance of the Red Guardian is coming out, another Avengers comic. Here is the KCBMW calendar. I really love that KCBMW is now being always retweeted by Veve collectibles. And guys, we were one of the first to adopt this calendar here on the stream. I remember that. So here we go. We do extra like directly on KCBMW. Oh yeah, a reminder for Blackpink set holders. If you've collected all 4 Jisoo, Jenny, Rose, blah, shut down series by 30th of April, only 5 days, your mystery airdrop is on the way. Keep an eye on your account for special reward for completing the full set. I don't even know if it's super expensive to complete the set or not. No idea. I have to check this. But there's an airdrop coming. For this, by the way, huge brand, also YG Entertainment, Blackpink, they have like a mega fan base. Maybe that's also the reason why these numbers are going up here a little bit more. The user numbers, the unique users. We will see. This is good. Gradual and organic growth instead of bots, right? That's exactly what we're looking for. What else? Let's see. Oh, another. What was that? That's anniversary. I was just thinking another version of the Punisher, but no, that's the Punisher. This is also really good because they are basically posting again about comics that are already on the app, so that people that missed this train completely and don't know what it is can find it and see what there's a Punisher comic on the app, so let me check this out, right? Really good. Not the best of exposure here with only 3.6k, but it might do the trick, whereas these, for example, here is 13k, yeah? Or this here 10,000. They are also going live with a lot of different things, in formats. They're going live on other podcasts and so on. I think that's really good. These I always like these cover variants, by the way, that look like toy box. It's like Mark D says, you gotta buy a ton of blind boxes to get the whole set. Oh, got it. But secondary market. What about secondary market? Is like there's probably one of those very expensive, right, to get the set. I figure. Let's see. Oh yeah, they have burned already this comic. And yesterday I saw a comment of Wes. He just bought 100 of those apparently before the burn, and there are only 2,000 now left, and he owns like 10% of the supply or so. No, 5% of the supply now or so. So people are still doing this, which is also cool because if the market comes back, this could be really, or when the market comes back better, this could be interesting. Store only purchase. The mystery airdrop will be quite rare. Oh, store only. Okay, got it. So if I buy it on secondary, yeah, I made that mistake before. I bought a set on secondary because it was not clear in the article, and then I didn't get the airdrop, and I was pissed as hell. But anyways, yeah. Good that you point that out, here. So guys, only store only. Let's see. But anyways, guys, for today, that's it. I think this is a very, very good Freaky Friday. Guys, make sure to smash up the like button here, please. Very important. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Notifications on. If you're interested in crypto, broader overall markets, but also altcoins and the NFT space, then you must follow with notifications on. Consider becoming a rare hodler to support this format. I would really appreciate that. Obviously, no one is obliged to do that. A simple like does help me also very much. And I think we will find ourselves with a lot more people here once this market is going full pump. And good morning to you, Sven, as well. Sven. Veve does a lot of overly complicated stuff that but might not be what's best for the broader view. Yeah, maybe. We will see. We will see. I think it only comes down to how much money is left over in people's wallets to buy on Veve. And once there is enough money left over, meaning once Global M2 fully went nuts, people will buy also this stuff again, right? And that leads to prices go up and to more volume. And once people see there is more volume, prices go up, they will see an opportunity and roll funds into that to pump the market and take advantage of the prices. It's always the same story. Veve is poised to be a good choice there, but we will see. Anyways, 30 people here, guys. Please smash up the like button. I really wish for everyone to smash this like button. Let's put out a new record on the likes, please. I've not asked the entire stream for that, so now is the time for liking and subscribing. And guys, wherever you are on the world, have a great morning, evening, day, night, or afternoon, and I catch you in the next live stream, video, short, whatever is coming out. Bye.